From small-time criminal to peaceful protector, today's focus of Oscar Rewind is a previous Oscar winner who had their first nod in over 2 decades. Yes, it's season 3 of Oscar Rewind. Today I am looking at Columbia TriStar Films' The Usual Suspects, written by Christopher McQuarrie and directed by Bryan Singer. The film premiered at Sundance in 1995 before its theatrical release later that summer, quickly becoming one of the defining crime thrillers of the decade. And yes, while its legacy is complicated in hindsight, today we are focusing on the film itself, the craft, and the performances, and why that final twist still gets talked about today. What's up, everybody? Cinephile Mike here. It's a new episode of Oscar Rewind. I'm looking back at the films of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. Make sure you click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of these great throwbacks. They're going to be coming at you twice a week. We are now in Chapter 2, Breakout Performances. This chapter is focusing on the early standout roles for some of this year's other nominees, performances that helped define their careers, even if it wasn't that first role. And in some cases, like today, Benicio del Toro had been racking up the credits for almost 10 years before The Usual Suspects, but it was this film that introduced him to a whole new fandom. If you've never seen it before, here's your spoiler-free setup. About to be shot dead by a man named Keyser Söze, former cop and career now criminal Dean Keaton, played by Gabriel Byrne, lies in what is about to instantly become a fiery death trap aboard a boat in a heist gone terribly wrong. From this, there are only 2 survivors that they're able to save from this wreckage of dozens of bodies. One, Verbal Kint, played by Kevin Spacey, a disabled con artist, and Arkash Kovash, played by Morgan Hunter, as a unfortunate bystander involved who's almost burned alive. While Kovash is badly injured in the hospital trying to give information to FBI agent Jack Baer, played by Giancarlo Esposito, Kint is being given the hard cop treatment by U.S. Customs agent Dave Kujan, played by Chaz Palminteri. From here, we're then going to go back in time to see what happened on this boat and try to figure out who is this Keyser Söze. 6 weeks prior, a group of criminals, including Keaton, Kint, Michael McManus, played by Stephen Baldwin, Todd Hockney, played by Kevin Pollak, and Fred Fenster, played by Benicio del Toro, are all brought into a police lineup. They're brought together, and then from here, through a series of events, after this lineup, they are hired by a lawyer, played by Pete Postlethwaite, to pull off a jewel heist orchestrated by Keyser. Hesitant at first, the group learns that they actually have no choice, because to not follow through could have dire consequences. And as we are provided the small pieces as we try to figure out what happened in that opening 5 minutes, we see that people are not who they necessarily appear to be. There's a real grittiness to this film that is thoroughly enjoyable. I have to say, cinematographer Newton Thomas Sigel's lens captures all the action with a blend of shots that highlight the action as well as allowing room for these really subdued character scenes to play out. McQuarrie crafts a wonderful script that unrolls in a subtle way that keeps you entertained but avoids falling into these big convoluted traps that other films of this ilk often do. With it, John Ottman's editing, it's tight as we follow the story being told. You're provided with great red herrings to try to figure out who is running this show. This ensemble cast, it's stacked. They all do admirable work. Some of the standouts, Byrne's leader, very competent. Pollak's everyman, provides that, guy you just want to elbow. Baldwin has this kooky thug energy. And of course, the very charismatic Del Toro kind of gets some of the best laughs in the film for me. And then you have, on the other side, Palminteri, Esposito, and Dan Hedaya, who are all giving their, level groundedness in their legal personas. Now, I have to address it. There's a twist in this film. It's one of the most famous in modern cinema. But I'm going to say, even knowing that going in, I still found myself caught up in how effectively this film builds the tension and recontextualizes everything around it. I have to say, if anything, rewatching this film with that knowledge, it highlights how carefully constructed it all is, and you see how well McQuarrie structured the plot. It's not about the twist, it's about how we get led to it. And to that end, looking at the recognition, let's talk box office and awards. The film currently sits with a domestic and worldwide take of $23,341,568 with no international release. Critically, strong, 87% on the tomato meter from 83 reviews, 96% popcorn meter from over 250,000 audience reviews, and there were some awards. Over 4 dozen nods and wins. Some of the highlights include winning the 2 Oscars it was nominated for. Spacey won Best Supporting Actor that year, and Macquarie won Best Original Screenplay. Also, it won 2 BAFTA awards, Original Screenplay and Best Editing. It was also nominated for Best Film. It won Best Acting by an Ensemble and was named one of the top 10 films of the year by the National Board of Review. And the Independent Spirit Awards awarded it Best Cinematography and a win for Macquarie, the screenplay, and a win for Del Toro for Best Supporting Male. If you haven't seen The Usual Suspects or need to rewatch it, it is currently streaming on Tubi, or you can rent or purchase it digitally if you want to watch it with no ads. And that is it for episode 11 of season 3 of Oscar Rewind. If you enjoyed this episode about this, I forgot to say, this 4-star film that you need to go out and watch. If you enjoyed this review, check out so many more. Subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss any other Rewind episodes and lots of great additional cinematic content on my website, cinephilemike.com. Let me know in the comments, hey, what's your favorite movie twist that still works even if you already know it? I'm going to see everyone for the next Rewind, but until then, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.